Welcome to Centauri Stir-fry. Today we'll be talking about Batman vs. Superman, Dark Knight Returns, Diorama by Frank Miller. Inspired. You know. Stick around. Okay, here we are. Real quick. DC Collectibles, they do some pretty fine dioramas, I think so, for the price point. I have several. I'm not going to go over all of them, but this is one of them. This is inspired by Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. This is obviously by this insanely silly looking Superman sculpt, but overall it's okay. So what we have here is Superman on top of the crushed Batmobile, facing off with old bats, old-timey bats. He's got a sonic weapon he's crushing, and I think there's some pretty fine details in here. Now obviously this face here is definitely like a Reagan looking face, like a Ronald Reagan kind of vibe. And here you got old bats, his clunky, not so, you know, BVS Iron Man suit or whatever. But it's kind of insulated or whatever because he's dealing with a lot of power. Showcased by all these nifty cords, which is actually like a real, I guess, copper. So again, keep this away from your friends who may be crackheads. I'm not sure if that's the right thing to say. But anyway, so all this is real wire. You've even got, you know, little indications on it. So it's pliable. You can probably manipulate it a little bit. The capes are really well done. I like the flow of this. And I really like the difference between the cape and the boots. The boots are really shiny, which makes sense to me. So, it's not super heavy, honestly. There are heavier dios out there. I just wanted to showcase some of their work because I think DC does a really good job. As far as the flow, I think it's really well, and I'm going to throw a few others out here. Well, this isn't the best I've seen, but it is pretty good. There's some, I think the sculpt of Superman is really well done. There's that really nice finish on the S, and the boots are similar. He's crushing that. I mean, you know, the idea was solid, and this was the tank Batmobile, which was really cool. I wish you could see a little better, but he splits it apart, and you can tell that's what they were going for. And it's pretty solid. Here's some tracks over here, if you can see that reasonably well. Tracks torn apart. It's basically they're fighting on top of it, which is not what happened in the story. They're fighting at a street corner. He's plugging this sonic weapon into the power supply, but they're kind of trying to tell, like, you know, a whole story. But there's a nifty part to it that we'll get to here in just a second. Okay, here we are, checking it out. Like I said, pretty good look at the definition of Batman's insulated armor and his gauntlets. And there he is, plugged into the utility belt. It's kind of cool. There's a view of the wires, and they are pliable. I think the cape's done pretty well. It's got some cracks in it, like it's been used for quite some time. It's got some dirt at the bottom there. You can see this little bat butt crack G-string, which is nice. It's got the helmet, looking pretty good. I really like the way that cape's looking. It's all tethered and torn up. I'm not sure what material he's using, but you can get a pretty good idea of Superman's, you know. Well, I was filming.
Oh, sorry. Smells like asparagus.
Yeah, I'm cooking asparagus.
I have a keen nose.
You do.
Right, what I want?
Get out, Caitlin. Come on, man. I'm trying to film my statues. Beat it.
Bye.
Not cutting that. Alright, so the shiny boots. You can see some texture on the suit there. And his little, I don't know why he has straps. Pretty good muscle definition. And the silliest part about the whole thing is probably this Ronald Reagan weird ass face he's got. I mean, it totally looks like Reagan. Sort of. Or maybe the Michelin. I don't know. Was that Big Boy, I guess? Big Boy's Burgers. Yeah, but the base is pretty sweet. It's like on top of a tank. Pretty good definition. Or details anyway. The paint's okay. It's probably the greatest thing I've ever seen. But if you're a fan of the story, I think you probably might be interested in getting it. I don't think it's a must. But the coolest part is this little hole right here. We got Carrie Robin Batman rips that open. She pulls a slingshot on it, threatening him like she's got some option against Superman. That's a pretty cool little nifty Easter egg, I guess you can call that, in the side of the statue. That was really one of my favorite parts about it. But that's just a really, you know, a really quick look at that piece. Alright. Okay, part 2 of the DC dioramas is the nifty Bombshell edition Harley Quinn versus Joker, which is obviously this is a battle. This is a battle right here. We have Harley Quinn virtually raping Joker, which is just wrong. I mean, look at her. She's treating him like a rag doll. You know, he just came back from the war. He's got his sea scrubs on. So, I mean, come on. This is not right. Obviously, here's the proof right here that he was assaulted. But other than that, this was a gift to me from my wife, my family, last year for Christmas. And this is the only bombshell I have, and I think it's really awesome. Especially this Joker sculpt. The face on this thing is amazing. And you got this little name placard here, and this little, I guess, graded thing. And she's in her nurse gear. She's dressed like a classy broad, I suppose. Who's happy her old man's home. But I think it's just one of those things that flows really nice to me. I really like it. That's why I included it here. I mean, I just think it's hilarious. It's a funny piece, you know, of sexual assault. So there you go. If that's something you're into, if that's something you find funny, well then pick this up. Please do. Alright, we're going to get a really quick close-up of the face sculpts because they're really good. Okay, so here's the Bombshell Joker and Harley. Just some quick close-ups without the assault jokes. I'm going to try to refrain from that and keep the camera steady as I can. Just to show the face sculpt, really. Look at her. Pucker her lips. She's like, you know, waiting on him. Hair's dyed a little bit. She's in her nurse outfit. And there's the Joker's face, which I think is just amazing. I'm not sure if that's glee or terror or just a need to escape, but it's definitely pretty funny. And there's a sailor outfit. Her socks. There's the placard, which is pretty nice too. I like that. It's connected by a magnet. It's a pretty simple design, but I really like the execution. It really mimics that famous return home photo. I'm not sure what it's even called. That World War II photo in New York, I believe. Little sailor hat there. Mine's actually broken. I have to glue it back in there, but it's pretty simple. You really have to be careful with these cold cast porcelains. I mean, they do their best. They're packed in some cheap styrofoam, but just be wary. In fact, almost any DC Collectibles product I recommend, if you find a good one at a comic store, go ahead and buy it or take your chances. It's really how it is. But again, it's pretty cute. You got your little patches there. Got your little face there. You got your little rapist there. Anyway, okay, that's that one. Okay, so here it is. This is the Batman vs. Killer Croc diorama by DC Collectibles. It's pretty freaking cool. This is probably one of the most fluid statues I have, and probably one of the best dioramas in my opinion that I've ever seen. Just the action, it's like a shot in time. Like, you got Batman leaping on Croc, zipping up the mouth. Crocodile Dundee. You've got particles coming off the street. He's coming out of the manhole here. It's just Gotham across it. You got skull and bones there. Like, this isn't Killer Croc's first time here. He's eaten some people, which is weird. He's definitely changed over the years. I mean, he was just like a gangster in a trench coat. So here's Batman leaping on him, tying up his mouth. Killer Croc's, it's just like, it all happened once, so quickly. Here's a little wire with the Batarang. Now, I will say this is very, very fragile. In fact, I have a broken Batarang on his chest, but here's one that's still in his arm. I'll get some close-ups a little later on. But I just want to showcase the fluid, the action, the pose, just caught in time. This bat, look at this cape. It's freaking amazing. He's caught, even this cut here in his leg, you can almost see that there's some kind of Kevlar, a texture underneath just the main cloth. And the cloth on this arm is like a straight up ace bandage. the Bat cape. Look at this. I mean, that's the greatest thing about these statues. It's always my favorite part. Which I'm not doing it well at all. Sorry, I'll get closer pictures of it. Just the way it flowed. I mean, it seems like the cape's always a statue itself, in my opinion. I just look at it for hours. But the action here, the debris and the iron from maybe some of the street work. His stomach is even wet. There's a skull cracked open like he took a little nibble. Got some texture on the boots, some Jim Lee sole texture. The bottom of the manhole. There's the batarang flying around. Another batarang. I think the only weak point might be, I don't know, Batman's face, but you don't really look at it. You're not looking at his face. It's like, you don't care. You're just like looking at the action, the flow of it all. Okay, here we go. Here we go, the Batman v Killer Croc Dio by DC Collectibles. Some close-ups the best I can with some really bad lighting, but look at the angles of the cape and the fluid motion. I think it's beautiful. Got those serrations there, or his in sections. I mean, he's definitely, Batman's like a demon. The best part of any statue, Batman statue, is the cape. I'm just gonna focus on the cape for now. He's like a different kind of animal. This is actually quite a bit larger than it seems. I think maybe from tip to tip on this thing, it's at least 13 inches, maybe 14 inches. It's fairly large. It doesn't quite fit in a detail off view on that. I mean, you'd have to take a layer of the glass out to make it work. Very wide wingspan. I just love the way that cape looks. But we're running out of time. We got to haul butt on this. Croc's stomach is wet, like he just came out of the gutter. Super wet. And a really quick close-up of the ace bandage wraps that I really initially thought were some kind of mixed media, but they're not. That's sculpted, which is pretty amazing. There's the scales. There's like a Kevlar rip behind there. There's his mouth. Okay, just real quick, here's the mouth detail. I mean, you got, like, it's inserted tongue. It's not part of the sculpt, I don't think, but still looks pretty good. And the inside of the palms there, all the scales, the separated scales, and the ace bandage. Right there is where a batarang broke off. So if you buy this or get the second hand, watch out for the fragile batarangs. There's one there, a little blood. The scale work on this, and the eye actually, that's looking pretty darn good. But the scale work is very intricate, very well done. Batman's actually really plain. There's not much shading on his suit or his muscles. Very simple. He's really just about, I guess, illustrating the moment. The focus is really on Killer Croc himself, and there's some more close-ups of those ace bandages, which are amazing. They look like real material. There's Batman. He's got a little, some of that cable wrapped around his leg, or arm, sorry, fist. So there's some more work of the scales. I think it's really good. There's a Sideshow Collectibles quarter scale Killer Croc coming out, and I hope it's even half as good as this. And this is really well done. I pre-ordered it. We'll see. I'll do a review on it when I get it. There's Levi's or Wranglers. I don't know what he does. Probably Lee's. I think he wears Lee jeans. There's some skulls there. He's got a little snack. Apparently he's a cannibal, like we talked about. There's the manhole cover with some debris bouncing off. It's just very fluid. The whole thing's moving. So his wet belly. He's been chilling out in the sewers somewhere. Very awesome. There's another look at the cape. Okay, so got the Batman v Superman Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller edition. Then we got the Joker versus Harley Quinn Sexual Assault edition. And then we've got the superb, unbeatable in my opinion, Batman versus Killer Croc Diorama, second edition. Alright, so that'll be it. So thanks a lot, welcome back, welcome home, have a good night. Thank you from Centauri Stir-fry.